Just a quick note before we dive in. Even if AI helped for some parts of this video, you can trust that all the information provided is highly dependable. The insights are drawn from the most credible books, authors, and experts, focusing specifically on the principles of growing rich. This content is essentially crafted by an expert. It is entirely possible to wake up every morning in a cold sweat, fight an inner civil war, grind your way through the day, and still end up broke. You can be a spectacularly good worker, but a terrible asker. Receiving what you want is not the problem. Success is not doled out at a ration window until the supply runs dry. It is vast, infinite, and readily available, like an ocean. The fatal flaw for most people is that they walk up to this ocean of abundance holding a teaspoon. If you want to change your trajectory, the very first step is trading that teaspoon for a bucket. You do that by learning the art of the ask. Asking doesn't mean passively making a wish. It is a mechanical trigger. It's like pushing a button that instantly activates a sequence of mental and emotional machinery. Sheer effort is useless if you don't understand how to operate that machinery. To extract exactly what you want from life, you have to build the right framework. A proper ask cannot be passive. It requires fuel, and the most combustible fuel available to you is the raw power of disgust. Disgust arrives on that defining day when you drop to your knees in the dust to look for a dropped penny, or when you walk into your closet, shred your worn-out clothes, and finally say, "I've had it. I am not living like this anymore." That visceral rejection of your current reality forces a decision. Once that decision is made, it acts as a lever, taking the heavy weight of your disgust and using it to launch a burning desire to change. You cannot order that kind of desire from a catalog. It has to be awakened internally. Sometimes, the only way to trigger it is to tear down your protective walls and let the bitterest experiences of life completely touch you. A life-altering ask can never be faked. It is exclusively powered by an uncompromising refusal to remain in your current state. Once you have the fuel, you have to aim it. This requires intelligent specificity. You will never get what you want by mumbling vague ideas at the universe. An intelligent ask demands precise metrics. You have to clearly define how high, how wide, what color, what size, and exactly when you expect it to arrive. You have to draft the specific blueprint of your goal. When you define those parameters with absolute clarity, they become a magnetic force. The sharper your description, the harder they pull you in their direction. The final mechanism is resolve. This is where you calculate and structure your plans like a deeply skeptical adult, but you believe in their execution with the unquestioning faith of a child.
Resolve is a quiet promise to yourself that you will never give up. As Benjamin Disraeli noted, nothing can resist a human will that stakes its very existence on the extent of its purpose. When you combine a highly specific, engineered blueprint with an attitude of, "I will do this or die trying," the world has a strange habit of stepping aside to let you through. But here is the trap. Making a bold affirmation without the physical discipline to execute it is the beginning of delusion. It's like walking constantly to the west while searching for the sunrise. To see what real discipline looks like, look to the end of World War II, when the Jewish people surveyed the catastrophic loss of 6.5 million lives in the Holocaust. Those who survived came together and made one of the most powerful affirmations in human history: never again. But an affirmation alone wouldn't secure their future. They backed those two words up with relentless physical discipline. They committed to building a new nation and an army to protect it. They spent a massive portion of their national treasure on a navy, an air force, and the raw materials required to defend their borders. They ensured their physical game plan matched the scale of their wishes. Declaring that you want a better future is a meaningless exercise unless you are willing to spend the resources, the time, and the grueling effort required to physically construct it. Which brings us to a final mental interrogation. When you look at the sheer effort required, the obvious question is, why try? Why read the books? Why put yourself through the grind? The much better question is, why not? What else are you going to do with your life? The third question is the one that matters most. Why not you? Why shouldn't you be the one standing in the Louvre, gazing directly at the Mona Lisa? Why shouldn't you take a stroll through the breathtaking gardens and historic halls of the Palace of Versailles?
Why shouldn't you have lunch at a sidewalk table at the Café de la Paix in Paris, soaking in the energy of the city? Why shouldn't you stay at the Waldorf Astoria, dive into high-level commerce, and experience the absolute peak of what the world has to offer? The final question is, why not now? Don't postpone a better future for another second. I challenge you to take the next 90 days to test this machinery. Start making specific, disciplined asks today. Getting what you want out of life is a two-way street. The ocean of success is waiting, but you have to do your part and carry the bucket to the shore. If you found this valuable, please make sure to follow and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rise Raise One, for more insights on building your future.